Namaskar, Adab, Sat Sri Akal. I just got back from Varanasi 2 days ago, and interestingly, this was my 27th trip in the last 16 odd years. But for the first time, I went to Varanasi twice in the same month. I had gone for Shivratri in the beginning of March because I wanted to, go and see what is happening after having been locked up because of the pandemic for the last 2 odd years. And then since we had a workshop which Abhishek Hajela organizes and I'd gone along with the group, I went for the second time in March, so it was great. But anyway, this episode's not so much about Varanasi, but about this one person I encountered in Varanasi. And I tend to obsess over or, really concentrate on various objects or events or kinds of people, etc., over the years, which then turn out to be a series of photographs, and one of them which I really have been following because I really enjoy photographing is the Chai Ki Dukaan. And this is something which is absolutely, the most wonderful place I find in these small towns and villages and bazaars and gullies of India. Especially every morning you'll find people congregating there, reading newspapers, sharing information, sharing news, getting into arguments, wondering about how the country is, how the world should be run, what the Sarkar should be doing. And I find that really inspiring and I find that really interesting. And the tea shop which I am going to be talking about is run by Pappu ji, and in recent times he's become very famous because our Pradhan Mantri visited his shop, I believe, some months ago, while his cavalcade was going through the lanes of Varanasi in that particular area. He has a very unique way. I'm talking about Pappu ji now. He has a very unique way of making chai, which I photographed. And also, there's something which I've been finding very interesting in the recent past, is that there's certain things which, almost demand that we shoot in video because there is a process, there's a before and there's an after. So I've also shot a couple of short videos of how he makes the chai. So this is what I'm going to be talking about and showing you in this particular episode.
इनका मैटर हल करना है कल पूरे बच जाएंगे देरी क्यों नहीं आज फाइनल सोचे वही ने बुलाया फाइनल कर दी लेकिन डरा था मन पता नहीं कहाँ है
So Pappu ji's process of making the chai takes almost about 10 minutes. Then of course he makes them in batches of about a dozen or more glasses. So if there are a lot of people waiting, which they normally are, then they do get to be served, together. But that's what I found really interesting, that he very, carefully first puts the milk, then adds the sugar, and what's most interesting is that the way he, himself grinds the ginger and various other spices, which he then puts into this chalni, and then slowly pours hot boiling water on that, which then dribbles into the glasses, rather than the fact that all of this is just put into one saucepan and then boiled together, which is the way normally in most chai ki dukans I've seen around the country. That's the way it's done. But he is, somewhat, he's different. I mean, if you now watch this video, you'll realize that, this is actually a very fine way of making chai, and it does make a difference to the taste too. I mean, we used to every morning, because we were living nearby, all of us used to just walk down there and have a couple of glasses of tea each, because the taste was so much. And I particularly just really enjoyed the entire process, and I photographed it a number of times and videoed it a number of times, and of course also got to speak to him, he's quite easy to speak to. He's has no problems answering questions or getting into conversation. Though of course what is very interesting is that once when I asked him if I can get a lemon tea. He also makes this lemon tea which is very famous in Varanasi actually. And he said, नहीं अभी तो हम दूध वाली बना रहे हैं, तो आप 15 मिनट वेट कर लीजिए. तो I said, okay. तो ऐसा करता हूँ मैं, फोटो खींच रहा हूँ मैं, जरा 15 मिनट के बाद आ जाऊँ. He said to me very sternly, आप जब आएंगे तब आपकी चाय बनानी शुरू करेंगे, तो आपको फिर उसके लिए इंतज़ार करनी पड़ेगी. ये ना सोचिएगा कि आपको रेडी चाय मिल जाएगी जैसे आप आएंगे. So I thought that was really wonderful, and I really respected him for being so upfront and straightforward, and so actually in a way so finicky about what he's making, and taking pride in what he's offering. So that was really quite a wonderful experience. Also, what I just wanted to say in this video is that you might be wondering, that is this about photography or is this about making chai? But for me, over the years, photography actually has been my way of experiencing life and what happens in it. What people do, what's happening on the streets, if I'm shooting commercial work, what is the client requiring, what is the art director's thoughts. If I'm in the street, I really like to see the street as a theater, and look at the people on the street as actors in the play, and following a particular script, or not following a particular script, and that makes it even more fun. So that's actually what the idea of this series, Why Photograph, is for me. Because Why Photograph is not just about taking pictures, it's just about experiencing life through photography, where really over time, and I hope you will start feeling that too, understanding how life is lived, understanding how things happen, understanding how you engage with things, understanding how you want to express about various things which you encounter and which interest you, become more important to you rather than the fact that you want to take photographs of them. Yes, of course, I'm a photographer. The photograph is important. Is something which I find in itself something which really captivates me. But it's just the making of the photograph is part of a process of experiencing a particular situation or a particular moment, rather than looking for that one moment when I can freeze it. It should lead into the photograph, rather than being just a part of it.